Coming up next, live coverage of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT 12.
Okay, the May 15th, 2014 regular town board meeting has now come to order. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have some special guests here today who I'll introduce in a moment, but I'd first like to call forward Aaron Brownlee and Malik Hall to step forward to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Roll call. Councilwoman Barnum.
Present.
Councilman Perdicone.
Here.
Councilman Seeley.
Here.
Councilwoman Scrobach.
Present.
Supervisor Bello.
Here.
And attorney for the town.
Here.
Okay, I would like to, for the supervisor's remarks and announcements, I'd like to start by welcoming our Chief of Police, Chief Richard Tantello, forward for a presentation.
Thank you very much. Before we begin with our presentation tonight, I did want to make one announcement, and the board was kind enough to allow me to do this. In 1962, President John Kennedy designated May 15th as National Peace Officers Day. Remember our law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. In 1994, President Bill Clinton designated that flags of the United States would be flown at half-staff, honoring our fallen law enforcement officers. Let's please take a moment to reflect on those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in order to keep our community safe. Thank you. If I could have the board come down, please, to assist us with this presentation. And if I could call Officer Kelly Kreiser forward, please.
Good. That's all.
In December of 2013, a tragic death occurred of a young mother who had 4 young children, all under the age of 5. These children were temporarily cared for by responding Irondequoit police officers and other service agencies. You were touched by the reality that these 4 youngsters would be spending the holidays without their mother and a sense of this holiday season. Due to your compassion toward these young children in this community, you initiated a fundraising effort that was assisted by your coworkers and community members. You were able to develop resources that allowed for the purchase of gifts, clothing, and toys. All of this was done at your own expense and time, truly demonstrating your dedication to ensuring that these children would be able to enjoy a moment of happiness during the holiday. You observed something that wasn't right, and you took it upon yourself to take positive action. You exemplify our department's dedication to service in the town of Irondequoit. We applaud you for your efforts and your commitment to this community. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to present to you the Irondequoit Police Department Community Service Award. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, I've asked the members of the town council to stay down here for a moment while we do one more awards presentation. This past weekend was the first of what I know will be an annual event in Irondequoit, and that was our program called Invigorate Irondequoit, where we had literally hundreds of residents came out on a Saturday morning. We ended up with beautiful weather and fanned out across town, where we really invigorated a lot of the public spaces and parks throughout our town to welcome in spring after what was clearly a difficult and hard long winter. And as a result of our efforts, we were able to make a direct impact on 18 parks around our town. We collected 4,000 pounds of debris from our parklands. We planted nearly 500 plants and flowers. And I think that we could see a direct benefit of that as you drive through town and look at the playground parks and all the different parks throughout our town. And this event really would not have been a success if it weren't for a few just extraordinarily dedicated, hardworking individuals at Town Hall who really took this project. It was a new project that we brought in this year and made it their own, and it really would not have been a success without them. And so I'd like to call, if they're present tonight, the following individuals forward. Peter O'Brien, the Director of our Parks and Recreation Department. Patrick Meredith, the Commissioner of the Department of Public Works. Meredith Saul. Bob Kiley, from the Department of Public Works, Ann Doler, and I should be handing these out as you come up. Nate Stone and Sarah Culp. If it weren't for the hard work of these men and women here at Town Hall, this program would not nearly have been as successful as it was. They, like I said, they took this program from its inception to conclusion, and we didn't know if it would be a success. It was the first time we did this, and it was resoundingly a smashing success. And so to them, I give my hats off and a big round of congratulations. Good job, well done. I'd also like to recognize, in addition to these outstanding individuals, we also had a number of members of the town staff who came out that morning and volunteered and helped and made a real difference, and I'd like them to stand and be recognized if they're here, and that's John McGee, Greg Champion, Marissa Camus, Keith Kreiser, Noreen Stahlecker, Barbara Janier, and Katrina Hall. You guys did a fantastic and outstanding job, and I know Irondequoit owes a debt of gratitude to you. So thanks again very much. Okay, and before we get to the business part of the meeting, I do have a few more announcements. Last week, many of you in town may have seen the yellow ribbons decorating the front of Town Hall. The ribbons were to raise awareness for National Wishbone Day, which is a community awareness effort for a genetic condition called osteogenesis imperfecta, commonly referred to as brittle bones disease and OI. It's a genetic condition that causes bones to break easily. And OI awareness uses the color yellow to signify optimism and a promise of a positive future. The issue was brought to me by a constituent whose family was affected by this disorder, and I thought this would be a great way to honor their family and help support their efforts through the Ali Shea Project. So I would encourage you to visit www.alisheaproject.org or www.wishboneday.com to learn more information about OI. And then this week and tonight, you'll notice orange ribbons tied around the trees in front of Town Hall. And you'll see them actually as you drive around Irondequoit. You'll see many of these adorning our front yards. And these ribbons are being displayed to show our support for a young girl who is currently undergoing treatment for leukemia. And orange is the official color to fight against leukemia. And this I'm particularly proud of because in Irondequoit, we are a community that cares about each other. And I think that these displays of support are important, and so I wanted to display these at Town Hall to show our support for this young woman, but also for those in our community who are battling this disease. I also want to make an announcement about next week on Thursday, May 22nd, at 7 o'clock here at Town Hall. I will be delivering my first State of the Town address. So I'd like to invite all residents to attend and hear about what's happening in Irondequoit today and what to expect in terms of our goals and priorities over the next 12 months. Like I said, the event is here next Thursday, May 22nd at 7 o'clock at Town Hall. It's not necessary to RSVP, but I would ask that if you know you're attending, to please call 336-6034 to let us know you're coming so we can make sure that we have arrangements for enough seating for everyone here so everybody is comfortable. The town of Irondequoit will also be honoring the memories of the men and women who have served our country with our annual Memorial Day events. On Sunday, May 25th, our annual parade, sponsored by American Legion Post number 134, will kick off at 3 p.m. from Irondequoit High School down Cooper Road and then along Titus Avenue to Town Hall. And on Monday, May 26th at 9 a.m., a Memorial Day service will be held at the Irondequoit Cemetery. All are welcomed and encouraged to attend these great events that we've had. The Irondequoit Farmers Market is also kicking off later this month on Thursday, May 29th, again right here at the Town Hall campus. The Farmers Market runs from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. with entertainment and performances beginning at 6 o'clock in the Kiwanis Performing Arts Center gazebo. The Farmers Market will run every Thursday from May 29th right through September. And again, this is a very well-attended event that people really do enjoy every year, and so I encourage you to come out. And again, it starts Thursday, May 29th at 4 o'clock. The last announcement I want to make is we had a young man lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning, and I'd like to tell folks about him and his class. We're tonight honored to be joined by the Participation in Government class from the School of the Arts, led by their teacher, Mike Condello, who've been studying government and different governments in Monroe County and how we function and what we do. And as a part of their study, I went and spoke to their class a couple days ago to talk about our town board and town government, just how great Irondequoit is. And they wanted to come tonight to watch the board meeting and learn a little bit more about what we do. So I want to recognize them and welcome them to the town board meeting tonight. So thanks for being here. All right. All right, and I didn't grab the public input list. So let me look at that. The next item on the agenda is public input. We have a number of speakers signed up to speak tonight, and I will call you forward one at a time. Our first speaker is Diane Stark. Is Diane here? No. Okay. The next speaker signed up to speak tonight is Richard Barone.
Richard Barone, 154 Allwood Drive. Mr. Supervisor, you are quoted in the news media that the town code will be enforced. Example, the Medley Center, of course. That change is welcomed because during the previous administration of 2 years at least, many businesses violated the town code and continue to today, despite complaints, many complaints, over 100. I will be submitting to you in the next few days a record of the last 2 years to today of violations that continue. Once a business sees other businesses violating the law for whatever reason, then they assume the town's not going to enforce it, or they're not going to levy fines. Very simple. And at some point, you get to the point where they don't comply and a fine may be needed. I don't believe the fines have ever been levied in the category that I'm going to give you documents on. One business stated to me that once a neighboring business obeyed the law, he would. There is a schedule of fines, and they should be used. Now, why this happened, we have a new developmental director, we have a new supervisor, and I'm hopeful that your background in the district attorney's office will really understand the importance of an even-handedness in the law and applying of it, no matter what that law is, because the credibility of this town board is at stake unless you treat everybody in a fair, even way and apply that law. No matter how serious that law is, in the case of the Medley Center, it was very, very serious because it affected health and welfare and property. There are other laws also, maybe not as serious, should also be addressed in the same manner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next speaker signed up is Derek DeSalle.
Hi there. Actually, I think Wayne Morton and I are perhaps a little overzealous. We were just here for item 15
okay.
later on, and we were just here answering questions. Wayne and I go to a few too many meetings, so our apologies. But we're here when you need to talk to us.
Oh, no, that's okay. This would actually, you're not that overzealous. This is actually the perfect time to speak. So this would be perfect, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, we're just looking to approve the date for this year's 5K event for RGH. It's the third consecutive year. It's going to be, or we're hoping to have it on Saturday, September 27th. It's the same course we've used for the past few years. I have copies of the course if anyone needs to see it. But we just wanted to get formal approval so we could begin to publicize the race. We have also a few alternate dates in the event that there is a conflict.
Okay, great. Thank you, Derek. All right. The next speaker signed up is Wayne Martin. Did you want to come forward? You?
I go to too many meetings. I got all signing in.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Is there anyone else who wanted to address the board tonight but did not have an opportunity to sign up? No? Okay, great. Thank you.
The next item is the financial report.
As of April 30th, 2014, total expenditures and encumbrances for the town are $10,955,000, equating to 34.5% of budget, and that's slightly higher than the 33% of the year that has elapsed. The 34.5% breaks down as follows. Actual expenditures are 27.1% of budget, or $8,626,000. The encumbrances of $2,329,000 represents 7.3% of budget. As I've indicated previously, encumbrances are by and large high early in the year as departments commit to the commodities and supplies that will be required during the year. The general fund expenses of $6,101,000 are right on target with the 33% of the year that has elapsed. In the general fund, encumbrances are $1,132,000. However, the actual expenditures of $4,969,000 account for the majority of the activity. Altogether, the expenses in the highway funds are $2,649,000, 46.4% of budget. As evidenced by the winter weather this year, Highway 4, the Winter Maintenance Fund, has incurred high expenditures to date. Highway 1 has sizable encumbrances such as gas, fuel, and asphalt, and the Highway 3 expenditures for installment debt and equipment parts are reflected in both the actual category and as well as in encumbrances. Actual expenditures in the other major funds are below the percent of the year that has elapsed. The library is at 30.5% of budget, $588,000. The sewer fund stands at 28% of budget. That equates to $1,076,000. Stormwater drainage is below the percent of the year that has elapsed as well, at 17.8%, $140,000. Now, regarding revenue, the general fund has received $10,928,000, 59.8% of budget. 100% of tax revenue in the amount of $10.3 million has been received. With the exception of the Medley Center, the pilot revenue that was due by April 30th is in the numbers on the April report. For the entire town, $22.5 million, or 71.2% of revenue, has been received to date. The library has received 93.9% of its revenue. Highway has received 83.2%, or $4.7 million. The sewer has received 99.3% of budget. That's $3.8 million. So this concludes my financial report as of the end of April 2014.
Well,
Thank you. Can we have a motion to accept the
can I
financial?
it wasn't in the report, but next month we'll have that Medley
Yes.
pilot payment in there.
It will be in the May report. We actually received the $58,000 from the Medley Center during the month of May, so that will be reflected next month.
Okay, great. Thanks, Annie.
You're welcome.
Can I have a vote to accept the financial report?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Approval of minutes, April 10th, 2014, the workshop meeting.
Is there a motion?
Moved.
And a second? Any discussion or questions? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The April 17th, 2014, regular town board meeting.
Is there a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, because we're...
Items for board action. Item 5A, 2014-3, authorizing the hiring of a commercial appraiser for the valuation of Medley Center.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
I'll give a brief explanation as to what this resolution is for and why it's necessary. As the public is undoubtedly aware, on May 1st, we initiated the process of terminating the pilot agreement for the Medley Center property, which when the pilot is terminated and the property goes back on the tax rolls as a taxable property, the town assessor is required to ensure that when a property goes from exempt to being taxable, that it's on the tax roll at the proper assessed value. And so this resolution is necessary in order to make sure that happens appropriately. This is an unusual property. It's a commercial property that this would require us entering into a contract for professional services to make sure it's done correctly. And so to do that, we went through the RFP process that we would do when engaging professional services. The RFP selection committee met, and it was led by myself, Enza Minio, our town assessor, Laura Smith, the town attorney, Irina Skrobach on the town council, and Annie Smith, the town comptroller. We met and interviewed 3 firms. And the selection committee unanimously put forward the name of Gar Associates as our recommended service provider. Gar Associates did a very good and thorough interview and presentation to us about their services, and they really stood out above and beyond the other proposals in that their knowledge and background and history in Irondequoit and in commercial properties was impressive, and their track record of doing appraisals that stand up to challenges was very good. They also happen to be the most cost-effective firm as well to do this work. So that was the rationale and the process behind choosing this firm. Are there any questions or comments, or if Enza wanted to add anything? Or No?
I'm just, they're going to probably start right away. I mean, what time frame are they going to be getting on this right away?
We need to see what we come back with. They need a few days, they need to start, probably by next week, that we can get going on it. We're waiting to finalize some issues about going forward with it. Again, we're not sure where we are in the final process
Okay.
of getting it back on the roll, so
Right.
we're waiting.
Exactly, and in the event that it's imminent that the property is going back on the tax rolls, this is something that would have to happen. So this would authorize us to enter into that contract, should it be imminent that it's necessary to do so. Okay. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-4, authorizing an agreement with Harbridge Consulting Group, LLC, to perform an actuarial analysis of the cost of other non-pension post-employment benefits of town employees as required by the Government Accounting Standards Board pronouncements, numbers 43 and 45.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second? All right, if I could just ask Annie Seeley, our town comptroller, to give us an explanation to this resolution.
Yes, this resolution is a result of a requirement from the Government Accounting Standards Board, and the requirement is known as pronouncements number 43 and 45. And basically, it is to obtain an actuarial analysis of the cost of post-employment fringe benefits, except pension, that's provided to the employees. And this analysis needs to be updated biannually. The town is required to have the actuarial analysis performed. It's the future cost of non-pension post-employment benefits, such as health benefits that are with us after employees leave, are no longer employed. The EBS REMSCO has done this analysis for us biannually since 2006. We have been satisfied with the analysis that they've done, and based on the analysis that was done in 2012 by EBS REMSCO, and I might add that EBS REMSCO's actuarial services has now been acquired by Harbridge Consulting. So we will be dealing with the same actuary, but with a different company. And based on the work that's done before, we feel that that individual is well qualified to perform and provide the analysis, a quality analysis at a cost-effective rate of $4,999.
Okay, thanks, Annie. Are there any questions or comments? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-5, authorizing a series of balanced budget amendments within the general and sewer funds of the 2014 operating budget.
Is there a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, again, I'm going to ask Annie for just a quick explanation of the resolution.
The town board members have the summary of the budget amendments for 2014, and it's to provide funding for realignment of personnel and associated expenses. I'd like to indicate that the transactions are budget neutral. There's a zero bottom line impact, and again, it's in accordance with the realignment of personnel. And every item, everything that's included in the transfer has been discussed previously.
Great, thank you, Annie. Are there any questions or comments? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-6, authorizing financing of replacement PCs for the Arundecoyt Public Library branches.
Okay, is there a motion? And a second?
Second.
Okay, as the resolution says, this is to authorize the replacement PCs for the Arundecoit Public Library branches for the staff there. If I could, any other questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-7, adopt a resolution regarding a special use permit to operate a restaurant located at 999 East Ridge Road in an M manufacturing district.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, this is a rather exciting resolution, actually, that we're voting on tonight, despite its title. This is the final approval process for the new Sonic restaurant that's coming to Arundecoit. This is going to be anticipated to be opening this summer. And it's a great addition to the new Depot Plaza. There was just a Tops grand opening there yesterday, and this was a great new revitalized project on Ridge Road. It truly speaks, I think, to the growing nature of Arundecoit and really the rebirth along Ridge Road of the new businesses coming in, the redevelopment, and it also speaks to where I think this is a good example where government and business can work together to make good things happen and create jobs and bring new people to Arundecoit. So I want to commend our Director of Development Services, Director Weatherby, and his staff and the staff at Town Hall for working diligently on this to make sure that we will have a Sonic in Arundecoit, the first one in the region, really. And I know people are really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. So any other comments or questions or... No? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-A, adopt a resolution to ratify the CSEA White Collar Unit contract.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
As it says, this is to ratify the White Collar Unit contract that was approved, negotiated and approved. I do want to thank Beth Watrow in particular for her work on behalf of the town, and again for all the great work the employees do here in Arundecoit. Any questions or comments? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
All right. At 7:35,
Okay.
we do have two public hearings.
Okay, I'd like to ask for, actually, do you want to read the first public hearing and then I'll do a motion?
Okay, public hearing, 5A 2014-1, in the matter of adoption of the Arundecoit 2014 Community Development Block Grant Program in the amount of $815,574 for submittal by the town supervisor to HUD.
Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
And a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. I'd like to start by introducing Barb Johnston. Barb is our consultant from Stu Brown Associates, who helped us through the process of organizing the CDBG grant funds and the process of choosing the recipients. And so I'd like to invite Barb forward to give a presentation on what CDBG funds are and how we came to tonight's decisions.
Do you prefer me to address the board or the audience?
You could address the board,
Okay.
because the people at home can see it from there as well. Yep.
Okay, the Community Development Block Grant Program is a federal funding program that's been around for decades, allocates monies every year to larger communities in the country. Arundecoit qualifies as a so-called entitlement community because of its size and the level of income of its residents. For the coming fiscal year for federal CDBG funding, which starts August 1st, Arundecoit was awarded $815,574. So this is a slight increase from last year. Projects must be spent on must benefit people with low and moderate incomes, residents of households with low and moderate incomes. And there's three ways that the projects can benefit those people: either direct benefit to individuals who have low and moderate incomes, which is established by a formula by area; direct benefit to people with disabilities or seniors who are presumed by the regulation to be low and moderate income, or benefits to a certain area, which by census statistics is determined to be more than 51% low and moderate income. And there are a handful of census block groups in the town of Arundecoit that are identified as target areas, and so improvements can be made to those areas on an area benefit. The other category is to create and retain jobs for low-income residents. That's not one that Arundecoit has typically pursued. So the types of projects include public improvements, housing improvements, services, and planning and administration. The town of Arundecoit has established a process of public participation to select the projects to allocate their annual funds to. Starting in January, the town comptroller, who administers the process, solicits proposals from the community, starting with letters to program administrators who've been participating in past years, organizations that we know may be interested in participating, letters to organizations that may have contacted the town with an interest in doing projects that would be funded under Community Development Block Grant. And there's also a legal notice in the newspaper announcing that the town is soliciting proposals for CDBG funds. The town has established an advisory committee that's made up of members of the town board, town staff, and members of the community that assists the town in selecting the projects and programs to use Community Development Block Grant funds. This committee met in March, reviewed all of the proposals that were received, and recommended to the town board how to allocate the funds. And the recommended proposals are before you today. To summarize the projects recommended to be included in this year's program, Arundecoit's Home Improvement Program is the largest recipient, proposed for $553,914. That program is for low and moderate income homeowners to do rehabilitation on their homes. The other housing program is administered by Lifespan, Safety and Security from Seniors, and they come around to houses owned by senior citizens and put in grab bars and other safety improvements. Infrastructure improvements are proposed for street resurfacing in target areas, a total of $68,460. The safety and security is for seniors, $7,500. And the other infrastructure improvement is to the senior recreation center at $50,000 to complete some additional interior improvements to the senior center. Some of the public services include Senior Transportation Network, which provides rides in cooperation with Medical Motor Service. Life in Arundecoit Elder Care Program, which provides various services to seniors, and it's operated by Catholic Family Center out of the Senior Recreation Center. Life in Arundecoit is proposed for funding at $24,100 and the senior transportation at $26,000. The other program, services, is the Arundecoit Community Cupboard Healthy Eating Program. This supplements Arundecoit Community Cupboards program with money to buy fresh vegetables, lean meats, and other healthy eating items that they wouldn't be able to obtain through donations. And the other service is housing counseling program operated by the Housing Council, $12,900, and the healthy eating was $14,000. Finally, there's some money in the allocation to pay for administration, and that includes a portion of the staff in the comptroller's office and the town's contract with Stuart Brown Associates to administer the fund and the program and determine eligibility. So after this public hearing, the town would submit the action plan to HUD, and the program year would start on August 1st.
Thank you, Barb. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board in the public hearing? No? Okay, any questions from the board members? Actually, I'm going to close the public hearing and then we'll do questions before the resolution from the board. Any other comments? No. Okay. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing? And a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Barb, we can do the resolution? Okay.
Adopt a resolution in the matter of a public hearing pertaining to the adoption of the Arundequoit 2014 Community Development Block Grant Program.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All right. Thanks. Any questions or comments from the board?
One comment I'll make, though, we did get a little more funds than we thought we were going to get this year, right? Which
Yes.
I think it surprised everybody.
Yes.
Good.
Pleasant surprise. Yeah. Okay, I'll say right before we vote here, I do want to thank the committee that met. We met with a very dynamic group of residents who we literally spent hours and hours looking at these proposals, going through, asking a lot of questions, and it was really great to see so much community participation and input into the distribution of these funds, and also to meet with all the service providers in Arundequoit. It truly is a special community, and a lot of people who care deeply about their neighbors who are here providing these services on these funds. And I also want to thank Annie for the work that she and her staff did on this project. I know it's an enormous amount of work that goes into this in regulation. So thank you, Annie, and thank you, Barbara, as well for your work too. So, okay.
Yes, I just wanted to echo your sentiment also, that I was very impressed by the contributions of the committee members and their thoroughness, and Annie's thoroughness in our workshops and any questions that we had. So we applaud everybody's efforts, and we'd like to extend our appreciation for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Public hearing 5A 2014-2, in the matter of adoption of local law regarding the appointment of Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals alternate members.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
And a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. I'd like to start by calling on Director Weatherby to give just a brief explanation to what this local law would do.
Thank you, Supervisor. So what this local law would do, it would make it so that if ever in the instance that the Planning or Zoning Board had any extended absences, God forbid for reasons of health or for people being away for work or whatever reasons, that it would make so you had to miss a large period of time, that the continuity of the boards would continue. And that's very important from a business and development standpoint, that you would always have fully constituted boards and the people of the town would be represented at the table, and you'd never have a situation where you'd struggle to get a quorum, which unfortunately does happen sometimes because people's schedules and other things get in the way. So what this would do would make it so you'd never have an instance where a project or a homeowner coming before a zoning board for a matter would not get a fair hearing from their peers. And I think it's a very common sense proposal from the administration, and it's something that most municipalities have. And quite frankly, brings us in line with what would be commonplace if you were in another town. So,
Great, thank you. Are there any members of the public who'd like to address the board in the public hearing? Mr. Barone?
Richard Barone, 154 Allwood Drive. I speak as someone who sat on that board for 14 years, 10 years as the chairman. I have concerns about this from a couple points of view. One, if someone can't make the meetings, I'm not sure they should be on this board. You have 7 members, quorum is 4. Are you telling me that very often you have 3 members missing at one time? You don't have a quorum? That's terrible. In the 14 years I sat on the planning board, I've never experienced that. Never. So who are these people on the board that need to take all this time off? Specifically, my concern is this. Some of the projects are very simple. They're one meeting issues. They're addressed in one meeting and they go away. But some issues linger on for months. Will the alternative or alternate people on the board be at every meeting? So you have the continuity that if you have to use the alternate member to vote on something for a quorum or whatever reason, do they know what the heck's going on so they can vote intelligently? That's my main concern with this. You know, maybe it'll work out, I'm not sure. But I don't see the real need for it if you have volunteers who come to meetings. And I experience people that couldn't come to meetings sometimes, true. But I don't ever remember not being able to have a quorum. Now, I have noticed something that bothered me once. And that is there was a failure to approve something at a planning board meeting, and there were 2 members missing. So there was a quorum, but the applicant did not get the approval. And the chairman brought it back, even though it failed, in order to get the votes to pass it. Now that bothers me. I don't see where a court would ever do that. So was this an attempt to get something passed even though it basically had failed? And under New York State law, the last time I remember, the courts ruled that if there's a failure to get a majority of the votes, that is a denial. I don't know if the law has been changed. So this particular issue failed. But the chairman brought it back to get it passed by getting the other members at that next meeting. That to me is not right. I'm not sure it's illegal, but it's not right. But again, my main concern is the continuity, that if these alternate members are at every meeting, then they're knowledgeable, then they can vote if there's a quorum problem. That's my only concern.
Okay, great, thank you. Thanks. Are there any other members of the public who'd like to address the board? No. Okay, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Adopt a resolution approving the adoption of Local Law 1 of 2014 regarding the appointment of Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals alternate members.
Is there a motion?
Moved.
And a second? Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the board members? Or Director Weatherby?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, and something I should have mentioned when I was explaining the law. Any law is only as good as how it's administered or enforced. Absolutely, continuity is something that is important to us, and that's one of the reasons why we did this, is that the board members will have to be, the alternate board members would be at these meetings, and if you ruled on something at one meeting as part of a project, and you weren't the regular board member, you would have to then be, you're with that project till it's completed. It wouldn't be a rolling group of people. So, and also, it's important to point out that it wouldn't be used in cases of, oh, someone didn't show up today, we'll have someone in the audience come up. This would be something that would be for extended absences. So if you were away, and I use the example away for work, because we have not had an issue where people don't call and don't show, but if, say, someone were away from work for an extended period of time and we didn't want to ask that person that is a volunteer to step down from the board, this would give it so that you'd always have that 7-member body, and you wouldn't be in a situation where you wouldn't get a fair hearing. So that is absolutely the way that this is administered is the only way that it makes sense. The only way that it'll work is if it's administered in a way that is not only consistent, but is in a way that makes sense for everybody on the board and for the community.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the board?
I'll just say, plain and simple, I think this is just a responsible thing to do. just for the reasons that Director Weatherby said, we have projects and you don't want to threaten their viability or their ability to move through the process. So to have this flexibility, I support it. And also, just to make a point, when we've appointed several, I think, a board member to the planning board and a board member to the zoning board of appeal, and I think all of us have appointed them having garnered assurance that their commitment to the board would be steadfast, and that the expectation from at least myself and my fellow board members would be they were attending every meeting unless there was some extreme circumstance. So I feel comfortable, hopefully prospectively, the board members we appoint are folks who are committed, so that, hopefully we never have to use this. But again, it's responsible because it does have that safeguard.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I agree. Thank you, Director Weatherby, for all your hard work and your staff and their hard work, and for the board members on this legislation. I think I agree. This makes I think a lot of sense for us moving forward to make sure projects don't get stalled and we don't get held up in the planning and zoning processes. I think we should commend our planning and zoning board members. I know that they work extraordinarily hard, and these are volunteers in the community. They do this without pay, and it's oftentimes a thankless job, and I know that they're extraordinarily hardworking. So with that, if I could have all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-9, adopt a resolution rejecting all bids received.
Have a motion.
Move.
And a second.
Second.
This is a resolution that closes a bid so that we can open a new, fresh bid as soon as possible. Any other questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-10, authorizing the acceptance of gifts for Invigorate Arundecoit.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second. Okay, this is now the second time tonight I get to thank people for Invigorate Arundecoit. And at this point, this resolution is to thank those generous sponsors without whom this would not have been a success. There's a number of generous people who desired to give gifts of equipment, supplies, and resources for us to be able to do this at little to no cost to the taxpayers. And so without their support, this really wouldn't have happened. So I do want to just take a moment to acknowledge some of those sponsors now. We had Amon's Farm Market, Genrich's Garden Center, Home Depot, County Legislator Joe Carbone, County Legislator Joseph Morelli, Majority Leader Joseph Morelli, Senator Ted O'Brien, I-Square, Sodbusters, Tasteful Connections, Arundecoit Lawn and Landscape, Wambach Garden Center, and Wegmans. So they all deserve a lot of gratitude from us and from the community. These are some great local businesses who give back every day, and we're very grateful for their participation. Any other comments or questions from the board? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-11, authorizing the acceptance of a gift.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to call on our Commissioner, or Director of the Parks and Recreation, Peter O'Brien, to give a brief explanation.
The Arundecoit Little League, which is a community baseball and softball group in town, met with me and saw the need for some improvements out at Higher Bear Memorial Park, which is on Rudman Road. And some of these improvements include an outfield fence and some dugout fences. And the dugout fences are required for them to be able to actually continue using that field for their games. for the safety of the players, not on the field. So working with myself and the supervisor, they came up with a one-time gift of these fences, which is going to include the labor and material for this one time, and we worked it out, and we're happy that they recognized our challenge of improving the field in a timely manner, and they're willing to do it for us, so we're excited to do that.
Great, thanks, Peter. Any other comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, I'll say this is a great upgrade to a baseball field in Irondequoit, which is, I know, a commitment by everyone here on the town board. This also happens to be at a place that we did clean up on Invigorate Irondequoit. So this is this park is receiving significant upgrades there on Rudman Road, and I couldn't be more proud to support that. So with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-12, authorizing the hiring of a site work provider for the town of Irondequoit.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Second. Okay, for this resolution, I'm actually going to ask Councilman and Deputy Supervisor Perticone to give an explanation.
Sure. We had, the first couple packages went out for the library, and the first one was the site and civil package, and the other one, we'll do that next, is a foundation package. Just to give a little briefing on what actually the site work's going to be taking care of on the site here. They're going to strip the site, get it ready for the library build. They're going to have temporary fencing. They're going to have construction gates. They're going to do the site clearing demolition. They're going to strip the topsoil, asphalt. They're going to be doing the curbings, the sidewalks, the granite curbing they'll be doing, and they're going to bring in the utilities about approximately 5 feet in from the library. So this task here is there's a lot of work involved in this right here. We did do, and I'll talk about it right now. We did de-scope this company, and we de-scoped the foundation company too. So the recommendation from the people that interviewed the two contractors was a green light to go ahead and award these contracts to these people. This contract right here, once everything gets taken care of, the bonding and so forth, we're looking probably, within the next 3 to 4 weeks, they could probably start doing that work. So very pleased, and just so everybody knows, the combined bids, we're under budget from the forecast that we figured when we did the budgeting, so which is good. We're off to a good start right here. So we're looking forward to it, and this is the start. And the next package coming out will be the steel package, and the bids are due on the 28th of May.
All right, thanks, John. Any other questions or comments from the board? No. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
5A, 2014-13, authorizing the hiring of a building foundation provider for the town of Irondequoit.
Can I have a motion? And a second? Second. Okay, I'm going to ask again Councilman Perticone.
Yes, this is the foundation package, and again, this one came under budget. They'll be do the footings, they'll be doing the walls, they'll be doing the pads for the library itself. It'll go around the whole outline of the building. And, one thing we did talk when we de-scoped both these contractors, and they know, and we'll talk about to the rest of the contractors once we get the awards for the remaining of the jobs, that we're open for business here, and there's going to be a lot of traffic here, so they're all aware of that. So I'm certainly sure they'll be working with the DPW department, Bob and Pat, very thoroughly. They'll be watching and making sure that everything goes. But I'm sure that they know the site's got to be clean, and it's definitely got to make sure our traffic's flowing through. So, but we're looking forward. The two bids that came through are under budget, and we're on our way for the library project.
Great. Thank you, John. Like we said, on time and on budget. So, no, this is really exciting. These are really now the beginning of the construction of the new library. So we couldn't be more excited. I know people are anxious to see some progress made there. Any other questions or comments by the town board members? No. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-14, approving the special event license for St. Joseph's Ukrainian Catholic Church Festival.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? No? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 5A, 2014-15, approving the special event license for Rochester General Health System's Hats Off to Health 5K Run Walk.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I just want to thank the two gentlemen for coming tonight.
Your long-awaited resolution is here.
It swayed my vote.
Any other comments, questions, or debate for Mr. Seeley? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Item 5A, 2014-16, approving the special event license for the Rochester Triathlon.
So
Is
moved.
there, and a second? Any questions or comments from the board members?
No.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Before we adjourn, I do want to just say one quick word. I neglected to say a couple of words of thank you with the library project as well. I do want to thank John Perticone, Director Weatherby, Commissioner Meredith, all the town staff from the DPW department, the building department, the libraries, and all our workers on the library project. This really is a significant step forward in building the library, and a lot of hard work goes into this. And so my hats are off to these folks who are really working around the clock on the project. And a big congratulations to John, who's been doing this for what seems like years. So,
Well, you know what, and I just want to echo and thank everyone as well. And I think people who have been involved in construction for a while realize there's a lot to it. It's not just putting up a building. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that go on there. And now they're starting to understand. I think most of them that didn't do a building can build another library after this one with their experience. But again, the same thank yous that Supervisor Bello said to everyone, that I appreciate all the hard work, too, that goes into this project.
all right, thanks, John. All right, the next Town Board Workshop meeting will be on June 12th, 2014 at 4 p.m. at Arundequoit Town Hall, and the next regular Town Board meeting will be on June 19th, 2014 at 7 o'clock, again, right here at Town Hall. And we can I have a motion to adjourn? And a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Arundequoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Arundequoit's government access channel.